Birmingham dance teacher convicted for further sexual abuse of pupils. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Neil Harris was jailed in January 2018 for abusing his position as a dance and gymnastics teacher by sexually abusing 4 vulnerable victims. This summer he has been jailed for a second time, and some of Harris's victims have told of the impact the childhood attacks have had on their lives. Neil Harris, 72, taught at his mother's dance school in Erdington in Birmingham, which he later took over after her death, left him in a unique position to prey on pupils for more than 50 years. He was investigated after a victim found through a Google search in 2015 that he was still teaching. Harris, of Manta Road in Tamworth, was sentenced at Birmingham Crown Court after a jury found him guilty of indecent assault. A former pupil, who was abused by Harris in the 1980s, went to police after she did an internet search on Harris. She said Harris had sexually touched her between the ages of 9 and 13. More victims came forward, and he was eventually charged last March. He initially denied 21 counts against 7 former pupils, but, after a 3-week trial, was convicted of a total of 7 charges. At his sentencing, Judge Peter Carr said Harris's actions were a gross breach of trust. He said, "You've had an effect on the women's relationships with adults, their own children, and being haunted by the experience for many years into adulthood." Harris has been put on the sex offenders register for life. He is also under a sexual harm prevention order, restricting contact with children under 16. Now aged 74, over 2 years into his 5-year sentence, he has been found guilty of further offenses, after more victims came forward. After a 3-week-long trial at Birmingham Crown Court, on Wednesday the 18th of March, Harris was found guilty of 19 counts of indecent assault on 10 girls and 1 boy between the 1960s and the 1990s. Harris was previously jailed for separate offenses relating to the assaults between the 1970s and the 1980s. An Harris studio was popular and well known in the local dance community. For more than 50 years Harris taught at the studio, which was established by his mother and operated from her home on Cecil Road in Erdington. His charming personality enabled him to gain the trust and groom parents and children alike, said Detective Constable Nikki Thomas, the officer who led both investigations into Harris. "He presents himself as a very friendly individual," she said. "The witnesses, some of them will say he used to flirt with the mothers of the children. He was a bit of a charmer. He was a larger-than-life character. Because he was very good at his craft, a lot of people looked up to him. He was seen by the children as a god. A number of witnesses have said that to me. He was very much untouchable." But behind his friendly facade lay a man described by prosecutors as a persistent, predatory pedophile. Harris, now 75, they said, used twin disguises of amiability and authority to obscure his depredations. Harris will now serve the total of 13 years for his despicable acts of assaults on minors, which he has already served 2 years.